Right to what many call the best part of our meeting, the town manager's report.
Okay, I will start with board and committee commission vacancies. There is one vacancy on the Architectural Preservation District Commission, one vacancy into the next annual town election on the Cemetery Commission, 2 vacancies on the Finance Committee, 1 regular member and 1 associate vacancy on the Green Communities Committee, 1 member at large vacancy for the Open Space Committee, and 1 vacancy on the Personnel Committee. And anyone interested in any of these positions can find the volunteer application on the website, complete it and return it to the Select Board's office. And if you have any questions on the roles and responsibilities, you can contact our office at 978-582-4130, extension 144. For employment opportunities for the town, the following is a list of current job openings. The assistant to the sewer business manager, 19 hours a week. Assistant town accountant, 32 hours a week. Assistant meal site manager, 19.5 hours a week. Conservation administrator, 36 hours a week. Facility superintendent, 40 hours a week. Finance director, 40 hours a week. 2 heavy equipment operator positions for 40 hours a week. Land use director, 40 hours a week. Principal assessor, 40 hours a week. Seasonal cemetery laborers, which hours they usually work until October, November timeframe. So it's going to be a short season this in 23, but they start up in the spring. And videographer positions that hours vary between 2 and 10 hours a week. Information on these positions can be found on the town website under job opportunities. An update on the certification of property values project with Vision Government Solutions.
Before you move on to that, at our next meeting on the 10th, I've asked the town manager to prepare for the board a detailed update regarding the recruitment activities that are related to these positions, efforts that are being made by the town manager, assistant town manager, HR director, to fill these positions, some of the challenges they've experienced, and actions that we can take through our state delegation or others to help promote a better pipeline for some of these jobs and roles. So we should expect to hear that from the town manager next week. So thank you for that, Heather, in advance.
Welcome. Back to update on certification of property values project with Vision Government Solutions. Last week there was a kickoff meeting with Mike Torello of Vision, our consultant Nate Kramer of Municipal Finance Services, the interim principal assessor Rena Sweezy, and myself. We discussed the timeline of the project, updates to the Board of Assessors, and next steps. Vision is finishing up a number of projects right now, so the first phase of sales analysis and verification will begin around mid-October, but will still be complete according to the timetable in their bid. As part of the sales analysis and verification process, Mike Torello will review the sales file, and the town will send any sales verification forms we receive to Vision. Vision would like to meet with the Board of Assessors in mid-October to explain this process and answer questions. We also discussed getting information out as early as possible and throughout the process so taxpayers would be aware of what to expect and be part of positive public relations. Any questions?
No.
Okay. Community Compact Best Practices Grant Application. I applied for the Community Compact Best Practices Grant last week. Towns can apply for up to 2 best practices, which are outlined in the state's program guidelines. The 2 best practices I requested funding were financial management category to utilize the services of the Collins Center to create a comprehensive package of financial management policies, financial procedures manual, and a memorandum detailing any additional findings and recommendations regarding the financial structure and general administrative practices. This request was for $30,000. The second category was resilient and reliable transportation category to create a multi-year asset management plan that inventories and rates the condition of our bridges and culverts. This request was for $25,000. Both of these projects are part of my FY24 goals, as they will be extremely valuable to the town once completed. As we're all well aware, having written policies and procedures, identify laws and regulations that need to be complied with, provide guidelines for financial decision-making, and outlines for internal processes that should be followed by all stakeholders. The additional value of this best practice would be the inclusion of a high-level review of the overall management structure and recommendations for improvements that will address prior year annual audit comments, a financial management review done by the Department of Revenue in 2008, and will address questions about financial management structure in light of this past year's tax assessment issues. The second best practice will be critical information we are lacking in our capital planning process right now and overall long-term planning. We have 26 bridges and large culverts, and we do not have a corresponding management plan of when they need to be repaired or replaced, or the associated costs. To give an idea of financial impact, we have approximately $900,000 in local funds and the small bridge grant funds to reconstruct the Flat Hill Road culvert. The end product will be similar to our pavement management plan with the inventory assessment, priority rankings, and estimated costs. Any questions on that?
I just have one. I just want to be sure that, what I see happening in some of our surrounding communities, Fitchburg, I know that they're getting, painting murals and other things. I don't know the funding sources. I'm sure some of it's grants. But, they get to go to the state and cry poorhouse and get loaded with tons of money. And some of it, could just be that they don't prioritize the management of their projects. Are we going to find ourselves, and obviously I know good management is the best practice, but are we going to find ourselves at a disadvantage if we do what most people don't do, which is properly manage their assets and resources in terms of our ability to get funding from the state for these projects?
Are you talking about the bridges and culverts?
Yeah.
Project? So,
are we going to box ourselves into a situation where the state's going to look at us and say, well, you guys have plenty of money, you don't need our help?
No, I mean, perfect example is the Flat Hill Culvert project. We got funding through the state for the small bridge grant program for that. We got the maximum for that project. We've received money from the state for the Pleasant Bridge project as well. It's also having identifying the costs associated is a big component of applying for these grant funds.
Yeah.
And doing the preliminary engineering work that needs to go along with it, getting it to a certain percentage design phase.
I think I can reword my question a little bit. As part of the grant application process, do we have to provide evidence that we don't have stabilization funds or management plans for these kinds of things?
For which grant?
For culvert, for using the $900,000.
Okay, the small bridge grant.
Yeah.
I don't remember any component of that. It's asked basically what have been your steps thus far, pretty much in what you've done.
Okay. All right.
If it qualifies under certain program guidelines, like it's that bridge program is, I think it's under 20 feet span of bridge and other criteria. It wasn't a factor as far as how much, the funds that the town has available through general operating budget.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may comment on your question, I think having a management plan that this grant application would help us do would actually help us get grants for two reasons. First of all, it would identify to us things that are unknown to us right now about what isn't being done, and it would be easier to prepare and show that we are prepared when the time comes to apply, that we have put in all the groundwork so we know this is when this has to be done. And most of the grants, I think, are for construction in nature. That's where the real cost is building them, not identifying which ones need to be done. So I think it would actually work in our favor. I mean, I understand the point of your question, and I take it as such, but I think this actually I think it helps us.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you.
All right. Update on invitation for bids and requests for proposals. Bids for the public safety carport project were due on September 20th, and we received one bid from Diversified Construction Services for $517,918. When this project was put out to bid in June of 2021, we received two bids, and the low bid was $298,750. We currently have $135,000 in the fiscal 21 capital plan appropriation. Thus, both bids far exceed the available funds for this project. After speaking with the police chief and the facilities director, we all agree that we will not be pursuing this project, and I will be requesting these funds be reappropriated at a future town meeting.
What about doing like a solar carp?
I think Diversified Construction Services is a bit too diversified.
Bids for the two DPW trucks were due yesterday, and we received one bid from Minuteman Trucks LLC for two F-750 trucks totaling $481,975, not including trade-in values for the decommissioned trucks. This amount is equivalent, I'm going to let someone in the waiting room. This amount is equivalent to what was committed through ARPA funding. We will be putting the decommissioned trucks on municipal to see if we can receive more than the trade-in value for the trucks, and then we'll award the bid based on those results. Also, the anticipated delivery date by Minuteman is on or before June 30th, 2024.
Hallelujah.
The DPW director had Mayor Tree Service remove 15 years of accumulated brush from the yard waste area at the Cap landfill site, as there was no room for more brush. They performed the work under the state contract for solid waste and recycling services, Category 10, organic leaves, yard waste, floating vegetation, and Category 17, wood. So thank you to the DPW director for getting that done. Route 2A, Chase Road, Electric Ave, and Lunenburg Crossing intersections. VHB, which is a consulting company, engineering company, held a kickoff meeting for the road safety audit on Thursday, September 28th at 10 a.m. at the Public Safety Building. The meeting was attended by myself, the police chief, the fire chief, the DPW director, engineers from VHB, engineers from Mass DOT, District 3, and engineers from Mass DOT headquarters. The issues with the two intersections were discussed. A field investigation was conducted where we all traveled to those intersections and observed traffic, and then back to the Public Safety Building to discuss mitigation solutions. A write-up of proposed solutions will be forthcoming at a date unknown.
Thank you.
Definitely progress on, that took a lot of effort and persistence by the DPW director and the police and fire chief as well. So I'm going to thank them for being persistent.
I was going to bring what I'm going to bring up under action files, but since this is a topic, I did have somebody reach out to me about this intersection, that the lines are so faded, so there's no way of knowing when you get to the intersection, which is already dangerous enough, that you don't know what lane you're in, especially at night and especially if it's raining. So whatever can be done in the short term, I don't know, but I did want to relay. I have related to the DPW director. Okay. But I'll just bring it up here if you could follow up and see what can be done.
Which intersection?
This intersection.
The Chase Road on to Mass Ave or the
No, I'm sorry, Electric Ave, by the Walmart cross,
okay.
By Walmart, yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Because both were discussed.
Right, no, this was not the Hollis Road light, no, it's the Walmart light.
I think the Hollis Road was recently repainted.
Yeah. Just
some arrows, because I know a resident of ours works at Tiny's, where I go get breakfast sometimes, and she mentioned it to me, and that was recently done. Mm-hmm. While you're making your note, do we have a member of the board that's on our representative for MPO, Monitors of Planning, or MJTC?
I'm on one of them. Okay. I'm on the regional planning. MPO. Yeah.
All right. My question is, the bridge at Route 2. What's the timeline for that repair?
Route 70, you mean?
Route 70.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I could find out.
Okay, do you have anything on that? No.
They didn't, their last meeting was scheduled to be a couple days after the flooding, so they canceled it, so they haven't met in a while.
All right, yeah, it's not the end of the world, but it's adding, 5 minutes to everyone's commuting time. So, I know in the morning, time matters. 5 minutes is a big difference, especially if you're going to the Concord Rotary. So, all right.
Especially when you're planning for dinner at 6:57 on the way back.
Yeah. All right. You are correct. All right. The next section to the town manager, would it be okay going forward if you move employee highlights into the announcement section of the agenda so that way we hit this earlier in the evening? But for tonight, I know you're about to hit them.
Okay. We'll talk.
Yeah.
Disrupting my flow.
I know. I keep interrupting you. All right.
So, last section of the town manager report is newer section, employee highlights. This weekend, different staff members participated in fundraising events for different causes. Council on Aging Director Sue Doherty, the Outreach Coordinator Pauline Roy, and Diane Noyd of the Council on Aging participated in the Alzheimer's Walk in Worcester. The name of their team was the Lunenburg Purple Turtles, and the money they raised goes to the Alzheimer's Association. Police Chief Gamble participated with other Massachusetts chiefs in the Jimmy Fun Walk, and that was in Boston this weekend as well. And the name of their team was Team Police Chiefs, not as creative as
No, not anywhere near.
Lunenburg Purple Turtles. And the money they raised goes to support cancer research and patient care at Dana-Farber. Thank you to the employees recognized here and those that we are unaware of for participating in causes like these. The Economic Development Committee public official meet and greet was on Thursday, September 28th, and there was a great turnout. Thank you to Low Places Ranch for opening up their beautiful location for the event, Josie Gilchrist and the Economic Development Committee for putting the event together, Lunenburg business owners, staff, and committee members for attending. For staff, the DPW Director, Bill Bernard, Fire Chief Pat Sullivan, Board of Health Administrative Assistant Andrea Schneff, Planning Board Administrative Assistant Annie Aubrey, Conservation Administrative Assistant Ashley Denio, Building Commissioner Brian Gingras, Executive Assistant Lane Peterson, and IT Administrative Assistant Kara McCarthy were all there, and thank them for making the time to attend and connect with other local business owners.
All right. Thank you to the town manager for that,
You're
for the
welcome.
report.